Now an update on the aftermath of the floods in Pakistan, where thousands of people remain in desperate need of aid and waters continue to rise. Jonathan Miller of Independent Television News reports from Sindh province in southern Pakistan.
Loaded to capacity, the helicopters of the Marine Expeditionary Force struck out to the northwest, across the ocean that is Upper Sindh, a water world dotted with islands of misery. Farmsteads, villages, entire towns stranded for weeks now, some entirely abandoned. From horizon to horizon, from mile after mile, a vast inland sea, accessible only by chopper. People in these villages have been marooned for sometimes up to 3 weeks, surrounded by a sea of water. This is their first airdrop. You can really understand why they're so desperate. Only the hurricane-force downdraft keeps the hungry at bay as they surge towards the huge helicopter hovering 20 feet off the ground, unable to touch down. It's still too marshy below. These isolated villages probably ran out of supplies weeks ago. They have no idea when the next drop's going to come. This is their chance. One of the choppers finds enough space to land. Local people are held back at a safe distance. The rice crops are ruined and the seed crop destroyed. 10 million Pakistanis will be reliant on food aid for at least another year. The pilots want to go. Suddenly, everyone bolts towards the stacked sacks of flour and boxes of high-energy biscuits. They grab and they run. It's the survival of the fastest. There are winners and there are losers. The Americans are throwing tens of thousands of Pakistanis a lifeline. They consider these mercy missions their humanitarian duty, but they know too that they're buying much-needed goodwill in a fragile, chaotic and volatile nation.
I see our mission as trying to help people who are starving. I see it as our mission is trying to alleviate human suffering. That's our mission. If a side benefit happens of better will, better relations with the people of Pakistan government, that's fine.
We've heard reports of fresh flooding a few hours' drive to the south. As we head down the west bank of the River Indus, we pass villages only recently abandoned to the water. Local police insist we take an armed escort. This is bandit country. The policemen in our 2 vehicles had both lost their homes. Their families now live in camps. Suddenly, just outside Pansaidabad town, we reach the end of the road. The newly displaced arrive on dry land with what they could grab. They are stoic, but shock is already turning to depression. 8 feet of water will take months to drain and evaporate. It's incredible to think that nearly 2 months after the floods first struck, fresh areas are still being inundated. This whole area here was flooded out within the last couple of days or so. And it wasn't because there was a huge amount more rain, but because Army engineers decided to cut a 70-metre-long breach in a nearby lake, which had grown to 4 times its size. The trouble was that the protective walls of that lake then crumbled, allowing all this water to gush out and flood 150 or more villages. Relief workers are yet to reach this area. They have struggled to keep pace with the water. We join a group returning to their village. Beside me, in blue, Mohammed Sardar, just back from Karachi to see what the flood has done to his family home. The government now says 100,000 square kilometres have been flooded nationwide, nearly 30,000 kilometres of roads submerged, 9 million acres of cropland underwater, and 21 million people affected. And that was before this area went under. Mohammed Sardar wanders around Jadani village in a state of increasingly traumatized disbelief. Some homes remain clear of the water, but half the village has been submerged.
The destruction is on such a scale it will be impossible to return to normality. These are poor people and their crops are destroyed. All their savings were invested in their crops and now they can't harvest them. They are left with nothing.
What will my life be like? I'm sitting here in sadness with my children. Nobody's giving me food. I've nothing. All my time is spent in shock with my children around me. I have no medicine, no food, no water, no sanitation.
As its people survey the damage, a gloom is settling over Pakistan. Few have faith in their government to do much to help. Politics is in a perilous state. The country is broke. Millions more people will be condemned to poverty. Their future, like that of their nation, mired in uncertainty.